Hi, this is estate planning lawyer Michael Pevney, and in this video we are going to talk about how to protect a child's inheritance from a potentially abusive spouse, or maybe a spouse that you just don't like and that they might not be with in the future. But before that, if you're interested in estate planning information, please subscribe to this page. Leave a question in the comments section. I'm usually able to respond. So, you get to leave your estate to whoever you want it to, and many people want to leave it to their kids. But once it goes to your kids, if you leave it through a will or through a trust but don't have any strings attached to it and it's just left to the kids outright, as long as they're adults, they get to do whatever they want with it. Now, some of us aren't that crazy about the partners that our kids have chosen. Maybe we just have a bad feeling about it. Maybe the kids aren't married yet, but maybe they don't have a very good picker. Okay, so maybe they don't necessarily choose the right relationships to be in. Maybe they're already in a rocky relationship. Maybe they've had bad relationships in the past, and maybe they've even gotten divorced in the past and are now headed toward a next marriage, which has an even higher rate chance of them getting divorced. So here's what happens. If it's left to them outright, the kids get to do whatever they want with that money. So that means they can just choose to share it with the spouse. Now, technically, an inheritance is separate property, but a lot of that just kind of is up in the air in divorce proceedings, because unless that money is really kept completely separately and used for very separate purposes, it's very often commingled with the rest of the funds, meaning money from that inheritance is used to pay a mortgage on a home. It's used to pay bills that everybody's incurring. It's used to pay for kid stuff. It's used to pay for cars that both people are driving. And the legal argument is often made that, okay, it was this person's intent that this be used as marital property, even though technically when they received the inheritance, it's not marital property or community property. There's also situations where we can have an abusive spouse, right? Kids can have an abusive spouse, and there's more kinds of abuse than just physical abuse. There's emotional abuse, and there's even financial abuse, where one spouse can completely control another's finances. And there's a great way to avoid this, and that is by putting their inheritance in trust. So you put it in a trust, and you can basically kind of like build walls around this inheritance, and it ends up staying in the trust, and you make sure that it can only be used for the benefit of your child, right? It can only be used for their health, their welfare, their education, their maintenance, and their support. And it can't be used for anything involving their spouse. And you can also make it so a lot of times we sort of want to keep things in the bloodline, right? So we want it to be used for the kids' benefit and the grandkids, if there are any, or there are potential grandkids in the future. So depending on how you want to design this trust and exactly what you want it to be used for, there are so many different things you can do with it, while at the same time protecting it from a future ex-spouse of your child, or somebody that you just don't really like all that much. So what happens is you place this asset, you place this money in a trust after you pass away, and it stays in the trust. And then you appoint a trustee, and that trustee is required to follow the rules of the trust and basically use those barriers to make sure that that is never used as community property, that the spouse or the partner or the person that they're in a relationship with can never get their hands on it, that it goes directly from the trust to whatever we're paying for the child, whether that's a home or a car or education or grandkids or something like that. We can make sure that it's protected from potential bad relationships of a child. So if you've got any questions about this or anything else related to estate planning, please subscribe to this page, leave a question in the comments section. And if you're a California resident, you can set up a time to meet with me for free by going to ocestateplanlawyer.com. The link should be in the description. And thanks for watching.